against an abusively biased system that's corrupted by partisan bureaucrats. For example, Fulton County DA Dani Willis now attempting to prosecute Trump for more than a dozen felonies, RICO charges, racketeering, a charge, by the way, normally used for organized crime, including drug dealers and gang members and the mafia. In order to pull that off, this aggressive prosecution, Willis used a massive amount of taxpayer funding to hire outside attorneys, some guy named Nathan Wade. Now, according to allegations from a divorce proceeding, Willis was having an affair with this lawyer and going on trips and tropical vacations with the lawyer, who was being paid an obscene amount of money. The pair were even traveling together during their investigation into Trump. Now, of course, this is all, seemingly financed by $654,000 that Dani Willis' alleged boyfriend earned from the taxpayers in Fulton County, Georgia. And to make matters worse, this guy has very limited experience prosecuting criminals outside of his work with traffic citations. So you got to ask, what's going on here? Well, I think it's obvious to connect the dots, but as we speak, Dani Willis, beyond playing the race card, is desperately trying to squash the subpoena related to this alleged misconduct, all while refusing to confirm or deny her inappropriate affair allegations with the special prosecutor that she hired and paid the obscene amount of money to and went on vacation with. Once again, the very same people, the ones that proclaim no one is above the law, they seem to think they themselves are above the law, when in reality, many of these prosecutors are nothing but political hacks motivated by fame and fortune and an unyielding hatred for all things Trump, and of course they desire power. Here with reaction, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz. Jason, let's start with you tonight. When you have a guy that doesn't have a lot of experience in criminal prosecutions, and you're paying him, 3 times what the Fulton County DA herself is being paid, and then she becomes the beneficiary of the high dollars that he's making off of her office to go on these elaborate vacations. I don't know, makes me scratch my head and say, well, maybe there's a conflict here. I don't know, maybe I'm just naturally suspicious. I'm a Florida resident now, but I did live many years in New York. Maybe I'm too cynical.
Yeah, well, that'll happen when you live in New York. Look, why won't she answer the most obvious question? Is she having an affair, a sexual relationship with the person that she paid more than $600,000 to using taxpayer money? That's a pretty simple question. She runs to the church and claims that it's just because of their ethnicity that people are picking on her. But the country, and certainly the people in the good state of Georgia, deserve to know if that $600,000 is going to her lover. And the allegation of, did she go to San Francisco? Did she go to Napa Valley? Did she go on a cruise at the courtesy of this person who was paid this big contract? Simple question, simple answer. She will not give it.
All right, let's get your take from a legal standpoint. Conflict of interest, Greg Jarrett, any legality issues for Dani Willis that you see?
All of the above. She still has to answer these accusations against her in the Trump case that, she hired her lover who was unqualified, paid him a whopping amount of money. Together, they used that taxpayer money for lavish vacations. I mean, Sean, that kind of collective self-enrichment smacks of honest services fraud, misappropriation of public funds, but their alleged relationship, which, as you point out, neither one is denied, is a serious violation of ethical rules that govern prosecutors. A personal interest in the outcome of a case, a conflict of interest born by an alleged affair, and, of course, the appearance of impropriety. And if proven true, it demands her disqualification as the prosecutor. She has tainted the case, although it may not be enough to get all of the charges against Trump and others dismissed. But, equally troubling, Sean, this guy Nathan Wade, her purported paramour, traveled twice to D.C. for meetings at the White House, 8 hours each. It's in the invoices he charged.
Yeah, by the way, he charged
Willis's
He charged for those hours, and Dani Willis also apparently met with the January 6th committee. Was there collusion going on? Coordination going on? Is that okay?
Well, first of all, it puts a lie to Willis's earlier statements that her prosecution of Trump was never discussed or coordinated with his election opponent. But look, all four of these indictments appear to have been planned and coordinated because they were all perfectly timed so that the trials would occur right in the middle of a presidential election. And Americans are pretty smart. They see this. Those indictments have only solidified support for Trump because they see him as a victim of political machinations by Democrats.
Let's talk about that timing, Jason Chaffetz. A lot of these issues go back to 2020. Why did they wait 3 years? Why did they want the trial in the election year? And do you think that these trials will in fact take place this year, or do you believe that there's enough room and enough legal arguments to be made to delay it?
I think they can delay them, but the very fact that we continue to talk about this is exactly the playbook that the Democrats wanted. They could have brought these cases years ago if they thought there was some validity. But are you telling me that all of these cases, 91 counts, all of a sudden, certainly it came into fruition and we're going onto the court calendar right at the beginning of January when we're in the middle of these caucuses and primaries? That's no accident. Sometimes the obvious, it's just common sense. That's a big conspiracy. It's just obvious.
Yeah. What do you think, Greg, from your standpoint? You know the law as well as anybody I know. Do you see arguments that could be made that would be effective to delay all of these trials?
Well, in the J6 case brought by the special counsel Jack Smith, he's got a couple of problems. First of all, the Supreme Court is already going to hear one of the main parts of his case against Trump, obstruction of an official proceeding. If the High Court tosses that out, that does great damage to Jack Smith's case.
By the way, that's not
then
even,
there is the immunity claim.
That's not even Trump's case. That's somebody that was charged about involvement.
That's right.
So he would be the beneficiary if, in fact, the court ruled in favor of the plaintiff here.
That's right. And then there is the pending immunity issue as well. So I think that's going to delay that Washington, D.C. case. In New York, I don't think Alvin Bragg has figured out yet what underlying crime Trump committed. I don't think he really wants to try that case. And now you've got Dani Willis.
Yeah. Well, we'll watch them all closely. Appreciate both of you. Greg Jarrett.